right, looking good. Hey guys, how you doing? It's your friend Tim Black. I'm here. Just want to give people an opportunity to come to the stream, and I just want to report on what's going on in Paris. I'm gonna give people some updates. I started this conversation yesterday. Well, I started reporting on this issue yesterday. Uh, these hellacious attacks that occurred yesterday. Need my pop filter. Let me get my pop filter. All right. And I want to thank you guys for bearing with me. I had some technical difficulties yesterday. There we go. I'd like to start off with a little bit of reporting that's coming out of CNN. I've got a number of sources that I want us to be able to bounce back and forth to. They're going to give us some insight about what's going on now, and just update everybody about Paris and what happened, and where we stand now. Officially, ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attacks that occurred in Paris yesterday. Masthead. Paris attacks. ISIS claims responsibility for gunfire blast that killed 128 people. Paris, CNN breaking news update published at 12:37. A number of arrests have been made in Belgium during police raids in connection to Friday's attacks in France. A Belgian Justice Ministry spokesman told CNN Saturday. The raids were conducted in Molenbeek on the outskirts of Brussels. Justice Ministry spokeswoman Sieghild Lecour said. Lecour also told CNN that a car rented in Brussels was found near one of the sites of the attacks in France, and that's what triggered the raids. So what I'm getting from this, guys, is that they have apprehended some folks, and they've been able to get intelligence from the interrogations. This is all new information. This information is coming out as of 12:32, just over an hour ago. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the worst violence witnessed in France since World War II, a volley of nearly simultaneous terror attacks that the French president called an act of war. A number of entities are calling this an act of war, folks. Meanwhile, investigators' response expanded beyond France as Belgian authorities conducted raids in a Brussels suburb, including one connected to the Paris attacks. A Western intelligence source told CNN on Saturday. So it looks like Brussels is one of the main hubs from where the attacks were launched. And this gets interesting. Listen to this, guys. The raids took place in 3 homes in Molenbeek, Saint John. Let me repeat that. 3 raids took place in 3 homes in Molenbeek, Saint John, according to the source, who is in contact with French and Belgian intelligence services. One raid is connected to the Paris attacks, and the others to individuals known to Belgian intelligence. So I'd like to know did they take people in custody? Did they find bombs? Did they find ammunition? Strategic plans? What did they find? Computers with what? This could be very good, folks. This could be very good. I mean, we know ISIS is responsible. ISIS has claimed responsibility for the attacks. But if we get some information that can lead us to where these cells are, where the people behind the scenes who are directing this specifically, I don't just want to hear countries. I don't just want to hear Syria. I don't just want to hear Afghanistan. I just don't want to hear, Libya. I want to know, we need to know who. Sam is a name. Tim Black is a name, an address. Okay. Listen to this. Some of the Paris attackers are also known to Belgium intelligence. So some of these attackers are already known. They're already on the list. And this leads me to it, guys. Sometimes when we have this idea that we want to remain diplomatic, but we forget who we're dealing with. In the Paris attacks on Friday night, the assailants targeted 6 sites. The deadliest being a massacre at a concert hall where at least 80 people were killed. So we reported on the Bacalan Theater yesterday. 80 people were killed in that theater. Okay. So I thought yesterday that the number was higher in that theater. It's good to know a lot more people got out of that theater. This was the theater where they were at a concert, an American concert. I don't know who was playing. And the ISIS members walked into the concert hall and just started shooting. They were wearing all black. They were not wearing masks. They just walked in and they began shooting. In all, French authorities put the number of dead at 128, though the death toll is expected to fluctuate as the situation becomes clearer. The threat of ISIS is well known within the jihadist group's atrocities in Syria and being met with condemnation and airstrikes by U.S.-led coalition that includes France. I hear that we struck and we hit, we attacked Libya. We took targets in Libya this morning. I don't know what time it is in Libya. U.S. airstrikes kill ISIS leader in Libya, reports the Pentagon. Okay, so I wanted to find out what was going on on the ground in Paris, not just from entities, news organizations in America. I wanted to know from people in France, Paris specifically, right? So there's this live blog site called the local.fr, the local France, the local.fr, okay? And the Islamic, and their masthead reads, Paris terror attacks. Paris and Europe look for answers. And this was just updated earlier today. The Islamic State jihadist group ISIS has claimed responsibility. We know that. 128 killed, up to 300 wounded. President Francois Hollande called the attacks an act of war. We know that as well. Here goes some information we didn't know earlier. Football suicide bomber had a ticket to the game. At least one of the 3 suicide bombers at the Stade de France had a valid ticket to the game. This is also being reported by the Wall Street Journal. A security guard told the paper that the attacker was turned away and detonated his vest outside the stadium instead. So this is what we got, guys. A suicide bomber tried to enter into, I guess you would say, the stadium. He was turned away at the gate. He proceeded to detonate his vest himself outside the ground. So that could have been a much worse loss of life than what we experienced. Because if he would have got inside of that stadium, far more people would have been killed and injured. All right? I mean, we're talking about Germany and France. We're talking about the biggest sporting event. I can only imagine, like, one of the biggest sporting events. Germany's a big contender. It's a big game, and the stadium's full of people, and this suicide bomber comes in. Imagine if that happened in America. Now, listen, folks, this is something I was trying to get to yesterday during my broadcast. There are people who are Americans, of course, who don't see the significance of us covering this. They're like, Tim, why are you talking about this? We got stuff going on in America. Look, I don't know why you want to be selfish. We could talk about all issues. We could talk about devastation around the globe, but here's the thing. Don't you think ISIS would like to do the same here in America? These people, man, this could very well be Dallas Stadium. You understand? This could very well be the Redskins Stadium. This could very well, this could be, I'll keep going, guys. Everybody can get a Twitter account. Everybody shouldn't be able to use one. A security guard told the guard, the paper, that the attacker was turned away and detonated his vest outside the stadium. The three bombers only killed one civilian. See? Most likely planning to cause significantly more damage inside, either from the explosions or the potential stampedes after. So they dodged we dodged it. They dodged it in France, right? By turning away that guy, that bomber. I don't know if it's a male or female. They don't go into that, right? But only one person died outside the football stadium. That would have been significantly more of a civilian casualty count if they would have got inside. Okay, so that's fantastic. And they say not only from the explosion, but from the potential stampedes. Potential stampedes of people trying to get out. You always got to think about that. But you got large numbers of people. A Frenchman at the game. I know I'm going to brutalize your name. It's not intentionally. I'm going to go with Stéphane. Told the local that football fans weren't told there was an attack. So I saw footage. I showed footage yesterday, and I was very worried doing it. But there was footage of the explosions. You could hear the explosions. I heard the explosions live. Not live, but on the film. As the football players were playing football, you could hear the boom, boom. And they were right after one another within like maybe a minute. Less than a minute. And I saw that. I saw the players and the people in the stadium were shocked. But they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know that there was an actual attack going on outside. They heard this noise. It would sounded like bombs, but and maybe the safest place for them to be at that moment was inside of that stadium. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Because if they would have came outside the stadium, and I'm just glad they weren't thinking, these bombers weren't thinking this, I don't know. Okay. They didn't tell us what was going on. We figured because they didn't want to create a panic, especially with so many kids around. And then they got a picture of this. Okay, so Europe beefs up security at French institutions. Governments across Europe held emergency meetings on Saturday to assess the threat level. British Prime Minister David Cameron pointing to an evolving threat from the Islamic State group, which claimed the attack. Countries bordering France, including Belgium, Germany, and Switzerland, also said they were stepping up checks after French authorities also announced restrictions for traffic in and out of the country. So what's going on? They're concerned with some of these, with folks escaping to nearby countries. They're trying to detain, apprehend suspects. And to do that, you need to shut down your borders. All right? Makes sense to me, right? Makes sense to you? Makes sense to me. Last night attacks suggest a new degree of planning and coordination and a greater ambition for mass casualty attacks. This is the thing. And they're highlighting it here. Once again, this is the website, thelocal.fr. Thelocal.fr is a Paris active live blog, right? It's updated constantly. This attack that occurred in France yesterday. It shows an increased effort for mass casualties. This is significant, very significant. People need to pay attention. We in the UK face the same threat. That's what Cameron says. Says Cameron. David Cameron, the Prime Minister, the British Prime Minister. Okay, let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. Let's go to BBC. BBC, Paris attacks. Holland blames Islamic State for active war. Okay, so many entities, many Western nations, and not just Western nations. Well, many Western nations are calling this an act of war, but we're getting condemnation for the acts by many Muslim groups as well. Okay, so I want to point that out. Let's point that out. The near simultaneous attacks in Paris that killed at least 128 people were an act of war organized by ISIS. He said the attacks carried out by 8 gunmen. So now we know it was 8. Eight. I never heard the exact number. 8 gunmen and suicide bombers were organized and planned from outside. The targets included bars, restaurants, a concert hall, and a high-profile football match. ISIS has claimed the attacks. Okay, listen to this. Several arrests have been made in Belgium. We got arrest. We have arrest. Belgian Justice Minister Koen Geens said a number of arrests have been made in Brussels relating to the Paris attacks. Belgian TV says 5 people were detained in the suburb of Molenbeek. I reported on that earlier. Okay, so that's being reported here on the BBC. The arrests come after a car with Belgian registration plates was seen close to one of the attacks at the Bataclan concert hall. So they pull over a vehicle. Car had Belgian plates at the Bataclan in France. They catch him. I hope. How many people were caught there? 5 people. 5 people. Who, what, when, where, why, how? Okay? Who? 5 people. What? Caught outside the Bataclan. That's the where in France. Why? Because they had Belgian plates. I guess it looked suspicious. They were at a site where a bomb where shooting just occurred. They tried to flee. They were detained. How were they detained? They don't get into how. As the investigation continues, French police are trying to establish the attackers' identities. So we don't know who those people are or where they are from. This could give us more information. More information. One of those involved in the Bataclan concert hall attack is reported to have been a French citizen with a history of involvement in radical Islam. You know, I was reading earlier, just aside, guys, I was reading earlier where one of the concerns about this attack is that they're thinking that maybe ISIS wants more scrutiny and more harm to come to Muslims. And the thinking is this is it. They think that if people become more paranoid and more fearful and take out their anger on Muslims not involved, that will push many Muslims to joining ISIS or other radical Islam sects. You understand? That's a theory. I don't know. I don't know if it holds water, but I'm saying that's what they said. They're saying our reaction to these attacks, the atrocities, will cause us to ridicule Muslims. And those Muslims will turn to ISIS. Okay, so that's just a theory. I just want to put that out there. We need to keep that in mind. I don't know how that works. I don't know how you go, okay, I'm getting discriminated against and let me go kill some people. I don't know if that really works. I don't know if that's how people think. Over time, it may. Okay, let me keep going. One of those involved in the Bataclan concert hall attack is reported to have been a French citizen with a history of involvement in radical Islam. A Syrian passport was found next to the body of one of 3 suicide bombers who struck near the Stade de France stadium during the game. The Stade de France stadium, that's the stadium where they were having the football match. Once again, very luckily, they were unable to get inside that stadium and detonate. There were 3 suicide bombers outside that stadium. Those 3 suicide bombers would have got inside that stadium. We were looking at probably, I would say easily, 3 to 10 times more casualties. Easily. We're talking about a packed stadium. We're talking about 3 bombs. We're talking about not just the explosion. We're talking about more threatening is the stampede of people trying to get out of the stadium. So security, we got to look into the security that they have in place at the Stade de France stadium. Okay. Here we go. We got more information on that passport. A Greek minister says the passport belonged to a Syrian refugee who passed through the island of Leros. An Egyptian passport has also been linked to the attacks. Meanwhile, UK official sources told the BBC they believe a Syrian sailor recently returned to France was behind the attacks. So that's information. Okay. You got to see this. Meerkat.
Au niveau du bar, donc on a entendu comme des pétards, pour entrer, on a cru que c'était des pétards. On s'est retourné, et là on a vu des. Moi j'ai vu deux jeunes, pas plus de 25 ans. Ils nous ont demandé de nous coucher, il y en a un qui faisait toujours comme ça. Donc on s'est tous couchés, toute la salle s'est couchée. Et puis moi j'étais carrément sous une autre personne, puis il continuait à tirer, mais il s'arrêtait de temps en temps. Celui que j'ai vu principalement, il était en survêtement noir avec des traits blancs, il n'avait pas plus de 25 ans, type cheveux bruns, il était assez calme, hein. C'est ça qui m'a étonné. Et
Gosh,
je me suis retourné,
this is not helping. Guys, I didn't realize there was no translation. So we heard firecrackers, we thought were firecrackers. We turned around, and then I saw two young men, no older than 25. They told us to lie down. There was one who kept gesturing for us to get down. We all lay down, the whole room lay down. I was under other people, and they kept shooting, but they would stop from time to time. The one I saw was wearing a black tracksuit with stripes. The guy had brown hair. He was pretty calm. That's what really surprised me. At a certain point, I turned around, and we were wondering if they were real bullets or not. I saw him shoot someone, and then I understood. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't realize that was going to be in French. That was not going to be translated. I wouldn't have left you with an untranslated version. This is Jerome Barthélemy. Okay, this is the same thing that I saw yesterday. I think his name is Julian Pierce. What's his last name? This is a concert hall shootings. This is the second person from the concert hall shootings that says that the attackers were very calm. This was not emotional for them. This was like taking out the garbage. This was like shooting cans on a fence. This was not done in anger. This was not done in anger. This is what people need to understand. These people are not emotionally. They're emotionally detached. This is a job to them. Like you taking out garbage, like you mowing the lawn, like you dusting. That's the way they look at this. They look at this, and this is why I did a video last night, and I was angry in the video because so many people were upset about the killing of, well, not upset, but I'll say they were emotional about the killing of Jihadi John, the British ISIS member, and how they felt bad that we didn't take him in alive. And I'm trying to tell you, you're not going to nice your way through this. You're not going to nice your way. You're not going to score points with ISIS. Some people have never dealt with evil. Meerkat people. Hey, how you doing, Tachi? There are people on YouTube. There are people out there. Gosh, is my camera right on YouTube? Yeah, we're good. There are people out there who've never dealt with evil people. And I understand it. You never dealt with anyone who had no human, like, who didn't see you as a human being. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are people who don't understand the concept of pure hatred. Like utter hatred where people look past you. They don't see you as a human being. And the people that are saying, well, we could have just talked to Jihadi John. It's unfortunate we missed an opportunity to bring him back and try to reason with him and try to encourage him and try to prophesy to him and try to win him over and try to what? You are detached from reality. There were people who see, and I don't want to make this a racial issue, but damn it, it's the best way to describe it. There are people who hate me because I'm black, because I'm a black man. They think certain things about me. There's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. I don't waste time. I don't lose sleep. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't waste time on that. I don't waste time on trying to get them to see me differently, to change their opinion of me. Because it doesn't matter what I do. They're going to have that opinion of me. ISIS does not care what you do. You are a threat. You are an enemy of ISIS for the very reason that you exist. That's enough. You understand? A true KKK member, a true Nazi, because I don't want to make you all uncomfortable. You watch my stuff. I don't make you uncomfortable about me. You know, I don't want to do that. I'm not Jewish, so let's do that. Okay? And hopefully no Nazis are watching me, so that's safe, right? Let's go Nazi. A true Nazi does not see Jews as human. They see them as dogs, right? I don't see that. I'm not that way. That's not the way I look at people. I'm just describing for you. Do not flag this video. What I'm trying to do is get through to the people, and maybe I'm preaching to the choir, maybe all you guys already know this. I'm trying to get through to the ultra-liberal people who think that we can reason with ISIS. You have never dealt with people who hate you. You need to go somewhere. I wish you no bodily harm. Right? I wish you no bodily harm, but you need to go somewhere and be hated. Just so you know what the experience is like. Just so you can realize there are people that ISIS are... It's not funny at all, but it's trying to explain it. All right, let's keep going. Come on. All right. Let's keep going, man. Paris attacks. Okay, so you know the president of France, President Hollande, was was one of the spectators at the stadium. You do realize that. Do you understand what I'm saying when I say we need to look at the security that they had in place at the Stade de France, because they averted a very dangerous situation. Look, the president of France was at the stadium. Am I getting that? Am I reading this correctly? He was at the stadium. We had 3 suicide bombers trying to get in the stadium. This was very well planned. I believe ISIS knew he was going to be at that stadium. The Atlantic article on ISIS from March helped me understand the group more. There you go. And that's my friend Ryan Dupree. Ryan Dupree says he read an article that helped him understand it more. Yeah, and some people don't understand it, and I'm trying to explain it. I'm trying to put it in terms that they can understand. But I realize there are a lot of people who are watching who aren't Nazis. They aren't Klan members. They don't understand this. They don't look at people that way. They don't understand. They don't understand this type of evil. They don't understand what's going on. They don't get it. They don't get it. So they think you can actually reason. You cannot reason with, okay, forget it, guys. Here it goes. You cannot reason with, try to talk to a bear. Not a bear. Bears by and large are they don't attack people. There are wild animals out there that will eat your ass, okay? They don't understand, my bad. They don't understand, hey, let's discuss this. Just imagine that being a member of ISIS who wants to kill you. The same way. Just look at it that way. You got a better chance reasoning with a python. Everybody doesn't love you. And there's no amount of all right, back to the president. Okay. At the time, the northern outskirts of Paris, 80,000 people who had gathered to watch France play Germany at the Stade de France heard 3 explosions outside the stadium. That's the number I'm looking for, guys. 80,000. I knew it was tens of thousands of people. I could only imagine the stadium. I don't know much about football. I don't know much about the stadium, how many people it holds. But there we go. There goes the number. 80,000 people were in this stadium, including the president of France. And we got 3 suicide bombers trying to get in, and somehow they were stopped. And one of them had a valid ticket. That's what's important here. One of them had a valid ticket. I want to hear from the security guard who did not let him in. Because one of the bombers had a valid ticket, but was still unable to get inside. I'd like to know what you did. What tipped you off? And we need to bring him to America. We need to give him the best hotel, give him a first-class flight, and we need to find out what he did, and we need to implement that everywhere, because that, folks, averted this, changed this from a 128 casualties, well, dead, 300 wounded. It could have been much, much different than that. Just from the number of people trying to get out of the stadium after the detonations. You understand what I'm saying? All right. And we need to give it up. We need to find who that guy is. Okay, so now I want to switch a little bit to The Guardian. Now, The Guardian, I just like getting a perspective from all across the globe, as many different sources as we can get. So we did CNN, we did BBC, we did a local live blog in Paris called the local.fr. I want to promote them. I love the little guy, help the little guy. And now we're going to The Guardian, which is a big guy, but it's not in the U.S. So let's go here. Cameron says airstrike on Mohammed Imwazi was an act of self-defense. This is him explaining. This is actually yesterday. I don't know if I want to talk too much about this. This is discussion about Jihadi John. And some people say Jihadi John was in retaliation. It was a retaliation. Yesterday was a retaliation for Jihadi John. I don't think so at all, because based on our intelligence, we're finding out that this took weeks to plan, if not months. Okay, this took weeks to plan. In fact, I think this took, I don't even know if the airstrikes in Syria had anything to do with it. I don't know. They may have been planning this before that, because we're talking about 6 different locations. I thought it was 7. Now I'm getting the number 6. We're talking about 6 different locations, strategic locations. We got bars, we got restaurants, we got a stadium, we got a concert hall. We have a stadium where the president of France is there. We've got, that's a lot of work. That's not, we got unemotional people resolved to what they're going to do. No worries, no Allah Akbar, none of that. Just people going in, shooting people, then shooting them ones that fail, execution style. This is well planned. This is not a couple of frat kids get up, and just go, let's go do something. We have 8 gunmen and suicide bombers. 5 people were detained outside of the Stade de France stadium. So here goes another thing, guys. No, that was outside the concert hall. I'm sorry. Outside of the concert hall, we detained 5. And I say we. See, I'm just counting, these people. I'm counting the good people of France with all people that are good people. All people who want peace. All people who would be victims, right? When I say we. France authorities apprehended 5 people outside of the concert hall who were in a vehicle with Belgian plates. So we got 5 people. Once again, there goes the we again. We get some information from. So this article just goes on and on about Jihadi John. And basically, they're saying we did what we had to do about the airstrike on the Islamic State extremists. So now I'm just going to go back to CNN, guys. And it just reads here in the masthead for my Meerkat people, ISIS claims responsibility. And then we have a picture of people in, I guess, forensic suits, so not to contaminate the scene. This is somewhere in France. I don't know where. Horrific stuff, guys. Horrific stuff. There's no updates other than oh no, this is new. Okay. An American woman is among the 129 people killed in the terrorist attacks in Paris. Okay. So the number went from 128 to 129, but we expect it to go. We expect to find more casualties as this thing unravels. Okay, so let's go here. I can do this for Meerkat people. This is a. Hopefully, this will be. You won't need a translator for this one. I'm hoping. Okay. Play for me. This is a witness. If at all possible, whenever possible, guys, I try to bring you witness accounts because you know we want the human element here. We don't just want people theorizing, and even me. I'm just I want to hear what people say from the actual scene, and if this thing will just play for me. Let me kill a couple windows. Let me just make sure not to kill the window that I have. Maybe a lot of people are watching it. This is CNN website that's spinning on me. This is a picture. These are pictures in France taken today of just people visuals, street visuals.
I was
there we go.
In the Bataclan for the concert of Eagles of Death Metal, and at around 10 o'clock p.m. I heard some strong noises, and I felt like there was something not natural, so I just ran into a little room. I was upstairs. It was crowded downstairs, and I just with several people get inside a small room, and we waited inside this small room until the policemen came.
And when the policemen came,
yes.
What did you see as you left that building?
Well, they told us not to look around, but the feeling was like a bloody mess. Like there was blood everywhere, even people alive were covered with blood. And so the policemen made us going out, and we went to some yard close to the place, which was safe, and we waited. And then there was a kind of mass solidarity, and one of the people living in this yard proposed me to sleep for the night. And then this morning I went and saw the policeman to give what I heard.
Okay.
We are now truly facing an unknown and historic situation in Paris.
Police are just storming a concert hall. We don't know the exact number. It could be 100, more, less, being held hostage.
The show was about to end, and suddenly we heard gunshots coming behind us.
What I can see right now is a few emergency response units, firemen going in the building and trying to rescue and evacuate a few of the hostages that were trapped.
I was eating at a restaurant with a friend of mine. All of a sudden we heard huge gunshots and lots of glass coming through the window.
When I looked back, I saw at least two men, unmasked men. Maybe there were three, and they were firing randomly.
You see people on the ground wounded, what appears to be a lady there with her leg up in the air trying to get some treatment.
We were inside the stadium, and approximately half an hour after the beginning of the game, we heard two big explosions.
France's president was inside the soccer stadium where explosions broke up the game.
That's what I was talking about, folks. That's the clip I wanted to show you. That's the one that I saw last night, and I think I shared it on this stream. But unfortunately, I had this dumb mic. Look, guys, I had this dumb mic called an iRig mic. Oh, I had this mic plugged in, and was really nice. You can hear it when I record stuff, but not on Meerkat. It plays on, I can record videos with it, but it won't play on Meerkat. So thanks to some good people, I found that out. Unfortunately, but that's what I wanted to show you guys. The football stadium. The football stadium is packed. Look at the pictures of the football stadium. I'm sorry, guys. Check this out, guys. I want to bring this in for anyone here. Look at the people in the football stadium. Realize what we're talking about here.
Broke up the game.
This is a terrible hardship.
It was a bloodbath, and they shot at us, and they reloaded the guns several times, multiple times.
It sounded like there would be more than one, and it also sounded as if they'd stopped to reload, and then they reloaded again, and then more gunshots fired the second time around.
Thankfully, I have seen about 100 to 150 hostages, civilian people being evacuated.
My sister, my girlfriend, my parents, my grandparents.
Okay, what are the gun laws in France? Let's talk, man. Somebody knows France better than I do. I'm thinking they don't have guns, right? Right? And see, this is why, though some of my beliefs, I'm liberal on some things, this is where I have a problem. Because I would have loved, right? And I know it may sound crazy, but I would have loved for somebody to have shot these guys. They reloaded 3 times. You understand what I'm saying? We didn't have a gun in the concert hall. They reloaded 3 times. Anybody? Anybody out there? Man, I just want to know what people think about that, because for me, I don't know if I want my school teachers having guns, but I guess we can't talk about persons. They've got their, France as a country probably has their own rules regarding guns. They're probably against it, but I don't know. Maybe we need to consider this, because I don't believe we live in a vacuum where this can't happen in the U.S. For all my U.S. folks who are watching, folks, you need to seriously think about some of the laws that we have, some of the agendas people have, okay? Because I want that stadium. I'm not saying they could have took out that stadium, but I'm saying I don't live far from Redskins Stadium. Dan Snyder Stadium, Washington Redskins, I don't live too far from that. And if I went to that game and someone decided to do that, I can just imagine the thousands of people who would get stampeded to death. The thousands of children possibly who could get stampeded to death. And I think if they could do that in France, they would try to do that in America. I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe at a Super Bowl, maybe. I don't know. Just a thought. So, when we say we don't want guns, as you can see, ISIS had no problem getting theirs. Just throw that out there. And when you had these incidents, people always say, whenever there's a incident where a domestic terrorist does something with a gun, we start talking about we need more gun control. But when we have terrorists to do something with guns, no one talks about guns. You never hear it. And I'm just saying. Look at this. Look at the loss of life. And look, they were lucky. Paris was lucky. They were very fortunate, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. You got suicide bombers trying to get into a stadium, man. I'm stuck on that point just because. You have your president in the stadium. You have 80,000 people in the stadium. This was well thought out. This was well planned. I'm not going to sit there and watch them reload 3 times and not do nothing. Yeah, I like to say that too. But people were doing something. They were running. They were crawling. People were getting shot on top of you. Many witnesses say people were laying on top of them were shot. Like there were bodies stacked on top of one another at the concert hall. people tried to run. They just had nowhere to go. I remember in one report, Murad, where someone was running, they ran into a back room. They realized they had no exit. The room, there was no exit in the room. They didn't know. Like, you at a place and they're in the main room, like, you know, of a club, you're in the main part of the club, I guess, and then you run to other rooms, and there are just interior rooms. There's nowhere to go. If you don't know the layout, you don't know how to exit. And if you're in a serious, situation, I know when the people get on the intercom, they say, well, you notice in the back of the theater, there's an entrance. And, I don't know how well those things are lit in clubs. And even in the club, if you think about it, folks, and this is grim, but 80 people were shot and killed at that club. I'm sure that many of those people got out. I think there were more than 80 people in the club on a Friday night. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Very fortunate. That's what I'm saying. They were very fortunate. But we had 5 people detained outside of that club. If you got here late, they had 5 people detained outside of the club at the concert hall. It was right after the shootings. The car had Belgian plates, and they were able to detain those people. I don't know if there was any fire, if they just surrounded the vehicle. They don't go into detail about the detainment, but they do say they have 5 people. They have not released any identities of alive people that they detained, but some identities of deceased gunmen or suicide bombers indicate that at least one was from Egypt, one was local, a local France man or a local Muslim residing in France who had been on a watch list. Okay? Let's get some more information for you guys. Let me stop going on and on. Let me get you some more stuff. We did BBC, we did CNN. Any other entities you'd want to hear from? Because I can go back to CNN. I can mix it up. We can go to Fox. We can go to, I guess I should choose. You'll let me know. You'll let me know what you don't want to hear. Right? Folks on YouTube. God, I don't even have my chat open on YouTube. Arrests are tied to the Paris attack. Belgium authorities conduct raid after tracing license plate on mystery car seen near concert hall. There you go. That's the one. That's the one I'm talking about, folks. That's the one, folks. Arrest tied to Paris attack. Authorities in Belgium conduct raids in Brussels and make several arrests in connection with yesterday's bloody terror assaults in Paris. They killed at least 129. That's the new official number. An official says the arrest came after a mysterious car with a Belgian license plate was spotted outside the Bataclan concert hall before the attack. So this was spotted before the attack. Reports of the arrest came as France and other countries increase security measures to vow to take new measures to confront ISIS. Okay, so they've closed the border with Belgium. That I know. I know they've shut down the border. They're trying to contain and detain, catch, apprehend anyone involved. So they shut down the border. That's what they did. They put they focused on the borders at this point. What else? I'm just looking. There's a lot of information out here. I'm just trying to find something that I think that actually American college student. So we say American college student has been ID'd as a victim in the Paris terrorist attack. American college student ID'd as victim in Paris terror attack. I don't know. I know there was one earlier. Maybe now they further ID'd them now as a student. And I'm just looking for new information. Do we have any new information? This is not, the rest of the stuff isn't new. folks. Belgium makes 3 arrests linked to the Paris attacks. They just want to play videos for me. I don't want to play the video. Especially not Fox. I'm in trouble with Fox now because I played a video. Fox don't like me. I don't know why. I love Fox.
And this
Fox is
News
great.
alert now. This
Joking. Police in Belgium made 3 arrests Saturday in connection with Friday's bloody terror assaults in Paris that killed at least 129 people. Belgium Justice Minister Koen Geens told the VRT network that the arrest came after a car with Belgian license plates was seen Friday. Here we go. At least 89 people were killed at the concert hall. They were massacred by attackers armed with AK-47s and explosives. More information about the car. Geens said the car was a rental and the arrest stemmed from police raids conducted in the St. James Molenbeek neighborhood in Brussels. Earlier Saturday, French media reported that a suspicious black car with Belgian plates was seen near the Bataclan. Suspicious car. Car looks suspicious. I don't know. Paris prosecutor Francois Molins told a news conference Saturday evening in Paris that the 7 attackers who blew themselves up wore identical explosive vests. So we're getting different numbers now. I thought there were 8 gunmen and suicide bombers. So now we've got 7. This is fluid. This is a fluid situation. And I just keep making notes and I keep getting different. I'm going to have to start putting footnotes where I get information from. Because they're saying they have 7 people alone. They have 7 suicide bombers, all with the same identical suicide vest. Paris had 7 attackers who blew themselves up wore identical explosive vests. We can say at this stage of the investigation there was probably 3 coordinated teams of terrorists behind this barbaric act. Okay? 7 bombers, vests, 3 teams. So it makes, okay, this is how I'm looking at it, guys. What they're saying basically is we have a team at the, I'm assuming this is what they mean. There was a team outside the Stadium de France, the Stade de France. We have a team outside the concert hall, the Bataclan concert hall, Bataclan. The Bataclan concert hall. And then we have, I don't know, maybe another team that hit the restaurants and the bars. All right. Now, I know they said one of the IDs that they recovered was a passport. Yeah. Police officials said they found a Syrian passport on the body of a suicide bomber at another site targeted. At the Paris soccer stadium, where 3 were killed. The other victims were killed in bursts of gunfire at restaurants in 2 popular Paris neighborhoods. Molin said the attacker with the Syrian passport was not known to French intelligence. Okay. A Greek official says the terrorists crossed into the European Union through the Greek island of Leros, a transit point for Syrian refugees fleeing their war-torn country. So this is what we're getting. And this is horrible. This is horrible, folks. Let me reread that before I get on the soapbox. A Greek official said the terrorists crossed into the European Union through the Greek island of Leros in October, a transit point for Syrian refugees fleeing their war-torn country. So basically, this piece of crap, this scumbag terrorist, got into the country hiding within humanitarian efforts to allow Syrian refugees to enter. That's not good. That's not good. That's not good. course it's not good, but you understand the ramifications of news like that, right? The ramification of news like that. Because you're opening and you're allowing people in to help them. And within those people, what you got? You got a terrorist who takes part in the deadliest massacre in France since World War II. And they came in through what? Your humanitarian efforts. Citizen Crime Protection Minister Nikos Toskas, in charge of police forces, issued a statement that said, on the case of the Syrian passport found at the scene of the terrorist attack, we announced that the passport holder had passed from Livros on October 3rd, where he was identified based on EU rules. We do not know if the passport was checked by other countries through which the holder likely passed. And then it goes on to say how President Holland called the attacks an act of war. Yeah, I'm sure he feels that way. He was at the stadium. They tried to kill him. They tried to kill him. Folks. Yes, I agree it's an act of war, but I also agree, I also want to highlight, they tried to kill you, sir. I mean, or maybe they wanted to blow up the stadium or kill as many people as possible, and you just happen to be there. They just, All right, folks. I will reopen streams as I find more information. I don't want to just keep this open without being able to provide value. I'm not going to sit there and watch them reload. That's right. Just want to make sure any questions, anything. Ryan Dupree says the Atlantic article on ISIS from March. Okay, I said that already, Ryan. It was good. Apparently, they hate their Muslim Sunni counterparts as much or more than infidels. That's interesting. Yeah, that's why they cut their heads off, throw them in mass graves. Yeah. I want to be able to add value, and I don't know if I can do that at this point. I don't want to get too upset. This, and I don't want to just talk. I want to be able to give you more information. I'll check real quick to see if there's any updates to any of these websites. So now I'm going to the BBC. I'm just going to see if there's something new. They have live updates, latest updates. If anyone's interested, I can take you there, Meerkat, and I can let YouTube go, because I can stream as much as possible on Meerkat without a problem from Meerkat. What it is they want to control the media on YouTube. You don't have that problem on Meerkat. Oh, I thought this was going to be a video. Oh, here we go. Here we go, guys. This is good. This is from BBC. I'm gonna let you guys play it. Well, let my YouTube people go, and then I'll just let because I don't want to detain you guys. YouTube, I can't. YouTube guys, I cannot stream video content that I don't own to YouTube. Meerkat just sees me as streaming. I don't know. They're not. I can't do it. So come to Meerkat. Add me on Twitter at TimBartender and come to Meerkat. How about that? And then I'm going to share with these guys what's going on here. Sorry about that. I'll see you tonight on YouTube or on my next video. And let me end the stream here, guys.